I was 67 years old when this happened. I had never had more than a speeding ticket in my whole life. I just never thought this would ever happen. There's so many rules and regulations in importing and exporting orchids, and I tried to follow them to the letter. I studied on them. I knew more about them than most importers knew, and it just still wasn't enough.
Well, I imported orchid plants from all over the world, from South Africa, 2 or 3 countries in South America, Mexico, South Africa, everywhere. And I put out a price list to my customers, and they would order plants and I'd ship them, and that was it. Pretty simple. It was just me and a helper. I was working in the front room where I could see out front, and I saw 3 pickup trucks drive into the driveway. I didn't know who they were or what they were, so I went to the door to open it. And as soon as I got it open a crack, somebody pushed it in, pinned me against the wall with his elbow, and told me not to move. And 3 or 4 guys swept past me, went through all the rooms, and they'd check a room out. They'd say clear. And when everything was clear and there wasn't anybody around, then they took me over, made me sit on a kitchen chair for 4 hours while they searched the house.
I found out about that day. I was at work, and a neighbor called me and said, "What's going on at your house?" And I said, "I don't know. What's going on at my house?" Said, "There's a guy standing out in the middle of the street, stopping us as we go by, asking what we know about the illegal activities that are happening in your house."
They started having hearings, and at the hearings it seemed like they were involving me with another orchid that I'd never seen, and we went through that a couple times, and then all of a sudden they traded horses, and they got me on something else, some illegal plants that had come in with the wrong name. And so we had to go through fighting with that, and they came up with another charge of falsifying customs documents. Well, this was a document I had never seen, but the export document, the CITES document from Peru that was prepared by the Peruvian government, certified all these plants were legal. They had all been artificially propagated and grown in greenhouses, and none of them had been taken out of the wild. Our lawyer had taken $55,000 as a retainer, and he was charging us for time that he was doing things, and we were getting bills for that. And when it came down to going to trial, he said, "You can't go to trial unless you've got $30,000. And I told him there wasn't any chance I could come up with $30,000. So he said, "All you can do is plead guilty and hope the judge will let you off." And he sort of thought that the judge might give me probation and give me just maybe community service or a fine or something like that. But that isn't what happened.
As it was, we ran out of money. George pled guilty because we couldn't afford anything else. The house was mortgaged. I borrowed what I could. We'd spent what we had, our life savings, and we were in our 60s, folks.
They let me stay out until the 10th of January in 2005. And this was all over with in what, September, October?
October of 2000.
So they gave me the holidays, Christmas and New Year's and everything. And then we reported up to the prison in Fort Worth the 10th of January.
And I can honestly say that's the worst day of my life.
It happened that my probation officer got changed 3 or 4 times. And finally I got a probation officer that told me, he said, "I really don't have time to mess with you. you're not a criminal, and I've got some serious cases on my hand. He said, I'm going to ask the court to let you out of probation early. So they cut about 4 months off of it. You don't just send somebody to jail, you send their whole family to jail, because it hurts everybody in the family. I came out of prison a wholly different person. I didn't sleep good. I have nightmares about prison for the longest time. I didn't eat. I just sat in a chair and stared at television. I didn't want to go anywhere or do anything. And that's not like me. But that's what it did to me.